1998, an American man bought an island for $8 million. On the map, this 75-acre island was part of the United States Virgin Islands in the Caribbean. It was called Little St. James. From the outside, this private island was nothing short of paradise. Beautiful beaches, lush greenery everywhere. There was a luxurious palace-like mansion in the middle. Luxury guest villas were scattered all around. 2 large swimming pools, a gym, and a helipad completed the picture. But in this very paradise, a horrifying truth was hidden. A truth that made people living on the nearby islands call this place Pedophile Island. Girls aged 12 to 17 were trafficked here and sexually abused. These girls couldn't even escape because they were surrounded by ocean on all sides. Once, a 15-year-old girl tried to swim away, but she was caught and her passport was confiscated. The most shocking part? Who was visiting this island? Rich people from all over the world. Billionaires, business tycoons, and famous celebrities. So many big names are on this list. British Prince Andrew, scientist Stephen Hawking, comedian Chris Tucker. Countless politicians and billionaires came to this island. Parties were organized here for them. But the question is, who owned this island? The answer is one name: Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein started out teaching math to kids in Brooklyn. He was a school teacher. But fate took an unexpected turn when he suddenly became a financial advisor to billionaires. By accumulating wealth of around $600 million, he became a multimillionaire. Among his friends were Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, and former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. In today's video, let's uncover the truth behind America's biggest scandal. The complete story of the Epstein files. Everything that was happening on Epstein Island remained hidden for years. But in 2005, a simple police complaint became the trigger for this case. In March 2005, a 14-year-old girl and her parents went to police in Palm Beach, Florida. The girl reported that at Royal Palm Beach High School, a classmate took her to a rich man's house. She was told she just had to give a massage and would get $200 to $300. But something completely different happened when she arrived. Epstein met that girl wearing only a towel. He asked the girl to remove her clothes and then molested her. The police asked, "Do you know any other girls who went to Epstein's place?" She gave 2 names. When they talked to those 2 girls, 2 more names came up. And when they talked to those girls, 2 more names emerged. The police officers were shocked to see that this chain wouldn't stop. By the time police tracked down 1 victim, 2 more would surface. In just a few months, the Palm Beach police chief had identified 35 victims, and dozens more were being tracked. The most heartbreaking thing about this was that these girls were extremely vulnerable. One victim described, "She led me up a staircase and we made a right into Jeffrey's room. And Jeffrey was laying naked on the massage table. I really wanted this job. So I opened up to them. I said, look, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for me. I've been on the streets. I've been abused. And that's the worst thing I could have done. Because I just let them know that I'm vulnerable and I'm their perfect type." Police realized this wasn't a small case. It was a properly organized pyramid scheme. Every girl received extra money to bring in a new girl. Because of this, one girl would bring another, and that girl would bring a third. This way, a chain was formed. And most of these girls were under 18 years old. By May 2006, Palm Beach police had built a case against Epstein. The case was so strong that in July 2006, the FBI also launched an investigation, which was named Operation Leap Year. A 53-page report was compiled. From Florida to New York to New Mexico, victim statements were collected. Epstein was charged with international sex trafficking. Multiple victims came forward. I was 16 years old, 14 years old. This is me. This was me. This was me when I met Jeffrey Epstein. 36 minor victims, dozens of witnesses, an FBI investigation, and such serious charges. A man like Jeffrey Epstein should have spent his entire life in prison. But the truth is, something else was happening behind the scenes. Miami's federal attorney, Alexander Acosta, was negotiating a secret deal with Epstein's lawyers. This deal appeared designed to save Epstein. He only had to plead guilty to 2 minor prostitution charges. And in return, he and his associates were given immunity from all criminal charges. That means no other charges could be filed against him. The most shocking aspect of this deal was that it was sealed. That is, no one could even see this deal. Even the victims, those poor girls, weren't told about it. While in America, according to the law, it's mandatory to inform victims about any such deal. But no one could do anything. On June 30th, 2008, Epstein appeared in court and, according to the deal, pleaded guilty to 2 charges, after which he was sentenced to only 18 months. Only 18 months. During this sentence, Epstein was kept in the private wing of Palm Beach County Jail. He was given permission to leave for his luxury office for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. It was such a cushy arrangement that Epstein was basically only required to sleep there at night. And even after all this, just 5 months before his sentence was up, he was released from jail in July 2009. All of this was possible because of that secret deal. Because of Alexander Acosta, who secured this deal for Epstein. But here's the question that haunted this case for years. Why did Acosta do this? Why would a federal prosecutor give such an incredibly lenient deal to someone facing such serious charges? For years, Acosta stayed silent. But in 2019, when pressure mounted and he was forced to resign as labor secretary, he finally gave an explanation. And that explanation made everything even more suspicious. According to Acosta himself, during the 2008 plea negotiations, he was told by someone in the intelligence community, "Back off. Epstein belongs to intelligence." Let me repeat that. Epstein belongs to intelligence. Acosta claimed he was instructed to give Epstein the sweetheart deal because Epstein was somehow connected to intelligence agencies. Now, Acosta never specified which intelligence agency. Was it the CIA, FBI, Mossad? He never said. And to this day, no official confirmation has ever been given about Epstein's intelligence connections. But this explanation raised even more questions. If Epstein was working with intelligence agencies, what was he doing? Was he gathering compromising information on powerful people who visited his island? Was the entire operation an intelligence honeypot designed to blackmail world leaders, politicians, and billionaires? Think about it. Epstein had cameras everywhere on his island. Multiple victims testified that they saw cameras in the bedrooms, in the massage rooms, everywhere. He was documenting everything. Who was he documenting it for? There's another theory that circulated widely: Epstein's close relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell. Her father, Robert Maxwell, was a British media mogul who had confirmed connections to Israeli intelligence, specifically Mossad. When Robert Maxwell died under mysterious circumstances in 1991, many believed he was killed because he knew too much. Did Ghislaine continue her father's intelligence work? Did she bring Epstein into that world? Some investigators believe Epstein wasn't just a predator. He was an intelligence asset whose job was to compromise powerful people. Get them on camera in compromising positions with underage girls, and suddenly you have leverage over presidents, prime ministers, business tycoons, and scientists. Now, I want to be clear. This is largely speculation. There's no smoking gun that proves Epstein was working for any intelligence agency. Whether Epstein was working for intelligence or not, one thing is certain. Powerful forces wanted him protected. And that protection came at the expense of justice for his victims. Now here's the twist. This Alexander Acosta, later on, under his old friend Donald Trump's first administration, became the Secretary of Labor. For many years, Epstein lived his life normally. Nothing happened to him. He traveled in his private jet, threw lavish parties on his island, and socialized with powerful people. Our story could end here. The villain escapes. But somewhere, there was a woman, a journalist who had decided not to let Epstein get away with it. Julie K. Brown. She was an American investigative journalist working for the Miami Herald. In 2009, after Epstein was released, she followed the case closely. But Julie's investigation wasn't just reading old documents. She did something that no one else had bothered to do. She actually found the victims and listened to their stories. This was incredibly difficult work. Many victims had disappeared, changed their names, or simply didn't want to relive their trauma. Some had been paid settlements that included non-disclosure agreements, meaning they legally couldn't talk. Others were terrified of Epstein's wealth and connections. But Julie spent months, sometimes years, tracking them down. She would find old addresses, talk to family members, search through public records. When she finally found a victim, she didn't just ask for an interview. She built trust. She spent time with them, understood their pain, and made sure they felt safe telling their stories. One of the victims later said, "Julie was the first person who actually believed us. Everyone else, the police, the prosecutors, the media, they either ignored us or treated us like we were criminals. Julie treated us like human beings." Julie also did something brilliant from a journalistic standpoint. She didn't just rely on victim testimonies. She corroborated everything. She obtained flight logs from Epstein's private jet. She tracked down former employees who worked on the island. She found the butler, the pilots, the recruiters. She got their stories too. She filed countless Freedom of Information Act requests to get government documents. When those were denied, she fought in court. She examined financial records, property deeds, phone records, anything she could legally obtain. And most importantly, she exposed the secret deal. She was the one who revealed how Acosta had violated federal law by not informing the victims. She obtained the sealed court documents and made them public through her reporting. Her work wasn't just journalism. It was a complete criminal investigation done by one person with a notebook and determination. The Miami Herald gave her the time and resources, but Julie did the legwork. She traveled across the country, spent her own time, and refused to give up even when it seemed hopeless. After studying the case for years, in November 2018, she published her report. Not one, not two, but an entire series of reports on Epstein's crimes and how the system protected Epstein. Julie named it Perversion of Justice. The Perversion of Justice series wasn't just a few articles. It was a multimedia investigation with videos, documents, timelines, and interactive graphics. She made it impossible to ignore. These reports sparked a media firestorm. Public outrage grew. There were demands to investigate Epstein again. And because of this pressure, a new investigation against Epstein began in New York. Julie had identified more than 80 potential victims in her investigation. In her reports, she interviewed and documented 8 of them. The evidence was crystal clear. That's why in July 2019, Epstein was arrested again. This time, on direct sex trafficking charges. He was facing up to 45 years in prison. But then came the biggest twist of our story. On August 10th, 2019, Epstein was found dead in his jail cell.
The disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Epstein took his own life while he was behind bars facing charges of sex trafficking.
Officially, the world was told that Epstein committed suicide inside his cell using a piece of his bedsheet. However, due to several suspicious factors, many serious questions arose. First of all, there was no other inmate housed with him that night, which was highly unusual. Additionally, coincidentally, due to alleged technical malfunctions, none of the cameras inside or near his cell were working. As a result, no video footage exists that could confirm whether he actually hanged himself. These circumstances fueled widespread conspiracy theories, with many believing that he did not commit suicide, but was instead murdered. The video was released by the Department of Justice to prove that no one entered Epstein's cell before he was found dead and that he really did take his own life. But it's only fueling more conspiracy theories. Donald Trump retweeted a post saying that Epstein didn't commit suicide. He had secret information about Bill Clinton. That's why Bill Clinton had him killed. Epstein didn't kill himself became a popular slogan among Trump supporters. In the 2024 American presidential election, Donald Trump made it a major issue. Now, to understand why this became such a big campaign issue, you need to understand the political landscape of 2024. Trump was running against Vice President Kamala Harris. The Democrats were trying to paint Trump as someone with questionable morals, bringing up multiple allegations against him, his legal troubles, and his past associations. Trump needed to flip the script. So Trump's campaign strategy was simple but effective. Make it about the other side's scandals. And the Epstein files were perfect for this, because Bill Clinton's name appeared in flight logs multiple times. There were photographs of Clinton with Epstein. There were records showing Clinton had visited Epstein's properties. Trump's campaign constantly brought this up. At rallies, Trump would say things like, "We know who was on that plane. We know who went to that island. And when I'm president, we're going to release everything." The American people deserve to know the truth about crooked Hillary's husband. His supporters ate it up. Epstein didn't kill himself, became a rallying cry at Trump rallies. Conspiracy theory movements like QAnon, who had spent years claiming that Democratic elites were running child trafficking rings, saw the Epstein case as proof they were right all along. Meanwhile, the Democrats were in a difficult position. They couldn't defend Clinton's association with Epstein. It looked terrible. So they tried to pivot and point out that Trump also had a long friendship with Epstein. But Trump's base didn't care. To them, Trump was the one promising transparency. In interviews, whenever journalists asked about his own connection to Epstein, Trump would deflect.
Well, I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him. I mean, people in Palm Beach knew him. He was a fixture in Palm Beach. I was not a fan of his. That I can tell you. I was not a fan of his.
I knew him like everyone in New York knew him. But I banned him from Mar-a-Lago when I found out about his behavior. Unlike Bill Clinton, who kept flying on his plane, the Epstein files became one of the top campaign issues, especially among Trump's base. They believed Trump was going to expose a massive Democratic conspiracy. They believed Clinton and other Democrats would finally face justice. Trump made a clear campaign promise. Day one, we release the files. All of them. No redactions. The American people will finally see the truth. This promise energized his base and helped him win the election in November 2024. When Trump was declared the winner, his supporters were celebrating not just his victory, but what they thought would be the biggest political expose in American history. In November 2024, Trump won the election again and became president of the United States. Now everyone was waiting for the release of the Epstein files. Trump's supporters were especially excited about this. But in January 2025, the Justice Department under the Trump administration announced that Epstein's client list doesn't exist, and now no files would be released. Then Trump himself made a U-turn. He started calling the Epstein files a boring issue.
Pretty boring stuff.
He started saying it's a Democratic Party hoax that never ends.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. I understand we've given thousands of pages of files, and I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going.
Trump said the FBI should focus on important issues like voter fraud and shouldn't waste their energy and time on issues like Epstein. Trump's supporters questioned why he went silent. Elon Musk even tweeted that Trump's name is in Epstein's files. Later, Elon deleted the tweet. But the message was clear. Trump's closest supporters became suspicious. Trump and Epstein were best friends for 20 years. In the 1980s, their friendship grew so deep that they spent time together at each other's homes, offices, Trump's Plaza Hotel, and casinos. Epstein was seen with Trump at almost every party. According to an ex-employee of Epstein, in the 1990s, Trump and Epstein talked on the phone at least 3 times a week. Many times Epstein would put Trump on speakerphone and talk in the office. In these conversations, Trump would brag to Epstein about what he did with which woman. According to model Stacey Williams, women were like trophies for Trump and Epstein. Stacey alleged that in 1993, when she was dating Epstein, one day she went to Trump Tower with him. There, Trump pulled her toward him and touched her inappropriately. Epstein watched this happen, and according to Stacey, Epstein liked that she was a model whom Trump was pursuing. Similarly, according to another victim, at parties where Epstein forced her to have relations with other guests, Trump was also present. In 2002, Trump himself said about Epstein, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." Trump had also signed a note for Epstein in his book Trump, The Art of the Comeback. To Jeff, "You are the greatest." Because of this friendship, conspiracy theories emerged that Trump is also among those people whose names in Epstein's files contain damaging details. And that's why he doesn't want to make all those files public. Public pressure increased so much that in November 2024, a bill was introduced in the U.S. Congress stating that the Justice Department would have to release all the Epstein files within 30 days. It was a rare moment to see Republicans and Democrats voting on the same issue. Politicians from both parties supported this bill together. Despite Trump's reluctance, the bill passed. Some Trump supporters were excited that finally Bill Clinton would be exposed and the conspiracy theories that had been circulating for years would finally be proven. But when December 19th came, the Justice Department released only a few thousand files. And those files were heavily redacted. That is, more than half of the content was hidden using black markers. It wasn't easy to understand what was being said in these files. But still, when people read them carefully, what emerged from these files was less about Clinton and more about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's name appeared repeatedly in Epstein's files. According to one email, Trump traveled 8 times on Epstein's private plane. The same Trump who always claimed he never flew on Epstein's plane. Similarly, in another email sent to a reporter, Epstein wrote, "Trump knew about the girls because he asked Maxwell to stop all this." According to Epstein, Trump knew what was going on, but he remained silent. He didn't tell the police. The new revelations are the most shocking. The FBI received a call. A limousine driver called on October 27, 2020, just before the U.S. presidential election. The driver told the FBI that in 1995, when he was taking Trump to an airport in Texas, Trump was talking on the phone about abusing a girl. According to the call record, for years later in 1999, when the driver told this to a woman, she broke down. And then she said, "Trump and Epstein raped me." This woman told the driver that a girl had taken her to a fancy hotel or building where she was raped. Apart from that, there was another document in the Epstein files, a letter with J. Epstein's signature. The letter mentioned convicted sex offender Larry Nassar. It was written, "We have one thing in common, our love for young ladies. Our president also loves young girls like us, but we have to rot in jail, and he is the president. Life is very unfair." When this letter was written in 2019, Trump was the president of the United States. And the most concerning thing is that the Justice Department, which should be neutral as a government body, started behaving like Trump's personal lawyer. These rape allegations were called untrue and sensational. Similarly, the letter was dismissed as fake without any investigation. Trump, who was turning the Epstein files into an election weapon before the elections, is now trapped by it himself.
The list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Probably will be.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
The conspiracy theories that were being spread by his supporters are now weighing on him. But there's another twist in this whole story, one that keeps this case from being closed. All the Epstein files have not been released yet. We're talking about more than 1 million documents that remain sealed, hidden from public view. The Justice Department claims that redactions are being done on these documents, which may take a few weeks. But here's the problem. The documents that have been made public are so heavily redacted, they're almost useless. Black markers everywhere. Names blacked out. Dates removed. On many pages, half the lines are covered with black ink, making them impossible to read. And here's where it gets even more suspicious. The Justice Department hasn't even done these redactions properly. There are numerous files where these supposedly redacted words can be revealed with simple tools like Photoshop. In some documents, you don't even need software. Redacted words can literally be copied and pasted from other sections of the same files. It's almost as if they want people to find certain information while hiding other parts. So the most important question remains unanswered. What else is hidden in these files? We know there's evidence against powerful people. We know there's a list of people who visited his island. We know flight logs exist. We know there are witness testimonies that haven't been made public. We know there are financial records that could reveal who funded what. With time, we'll see how many presidents, prime ministers, billionaires, CEOs, Arab sheiks, and princes are implicated in this. How many Hollywood celebrities? How many scientists and academics? How many people's names will ultimately be revealed in Epstein's Black Book? But here's what we know for certain right now. This isn't just about Jeffrey Epstein anymore. This is about a system that protected him. A system that gave him a sweetheart deal when he should have gotten life in prison. A system that allowed him to continue his crimes for years after his first conviction. A system that may still be protecting others who are involved. The victims, those brave women who came forward despite everything. They deserve answers. They deserve justice. And the American people deserve to know the full truth about who was involved and how deep this corruption goes. This story isn't over. Not by a long shot. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the full Epstein files will ever be released? Do you believe Trump is protecting himself? Or is there a legitimate reason for the continued secrecy? And most importantly, who else do you think is on that list? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This is one of those stories where public pressure actually matters. The only reason we got even these redacted files is because people refuse to stay silent. If you found this video informative, hit that like button. It helps this story reach more people who need to hear it. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into stories the mainstream media won't fully cover. Share this video. Seriously, the more people who know about this, the harder it becomes to keep the truth buried.